Have you ever watched a man spend an entire year fighting to keep a door closed, then post 11 times in one night because someone on television pointed at it? That is the question every viewer was asking at 2:47 a.m. when Donald Trump's 11th Truth Social post since the El Capitan broadcast went live, caps locked, misspelled at the third word, demanding that ABC remove a man whose ratings he had been calling non-existent since September. The door, by that point, was no longer the story. The 11 posts were: Kimmel had held up page 47 for exactly 4 seconds. 4 seconds of live television. The camera on his face, and then on the page, and then back on his face. The particular sequence of a man presenting something that does not require narration. He did not describe its contents in those 4 seconds. He did not read from it. He held it up the way you hold up something that speaks for itself and give the room time to receive it. Then he set it down on his desk, looked at the camera, and said, "If these 53 pages were on Hunter Biden's laptop, we would know every single word." The audience laughed, then went quiet. The specific sequence, laughter, silence, that arrives when something funny is also, in the same breath, completely true. Trump was watching. He is always watching. Levitt had told a reporter in September that the president does not watch late-night television, and that anyone who claimed otherwise was trafficking in a fake narrative. Trump had posted about the previous Tuesday's monologue at 11:14 p.m. He had posted about the Tuesday before that at 12:03 a.m. The pattern of the posts, their timing, their specificity, the way they quoted lines that had aired 2 hours earlier, was its own documentary record of a man who does not watch late-night television watching it in real time in the residence, alone with his phone and a fury that could not be managed before it became 11 posts. Now, a different room. 11 months earlier, a campaign rally 2024. Trump at the podium, crowd at full volume, the particular quality of a rally crowd that has been warm for 40 minutes and is now at the temperature where anything the man at the podium says will find purchase. He said, "I will release the Epstein files." He said it the way he says things he has decided are safe promises, loudly, with the forward lean that signals total conviction, with the eye contact of a man who is not reading from a teleprompter because the statement has been calibrated to not require one. He said, "We have nothing to hide." He said, day one. He did not release them on day one. He did not release them in month 1 or month 3 or month 6. By month 8, his administration was actively pressuring House Republicans to vote against the release legislation. By month 10, when Congress voted anyway and the bill arrived at his desk, his position reversed entirely, and he signed it, which Kimmel noted gave the outcome approximately a 12% chance of actual compliance. By month 11, the DOJ had released a portion of the documents and withheld 53 pages specifically identified as containing interviews and documentation related to accusations against Trump. 53 pages, one specific number. Kimmel had held it up like a temperature reading. Page 47 was in that set. Not the most explosive page by the analysis of 3 separate legal journalists who had read all 53 before the briefing, but the specific page that, placed beside the administration's statements, demonstrated the precise shape of what the withholding was protecting. He had carried it to the desk in his jacket, the same jacket pocket. He said nothing about it in the first 11 minutes of the monologue that opened with Hurricane Epstein moving through Washington at Category 4 and making landfall directly on a man who had spent a year installing weather stripping on every door in the building. The audience was laughing. The scaffolding of the joke was standard Kimmel construction, the absurd metaphor, the deadpan delivery, the single clean line that reframes the entire political situation as a weather event in which one man is both the storm and the structure it is hitting. Then he reached into his jacket. The eye contact that preceded the reach was the instrument. 4 seconds before his hand moved toward the pocket. 4 seconds of Kimmel looking directly at the camera with the particular quality of eye contact that his audience, after 23 years, has learned to read as a signal. What comes next is not the joke. What comes next is the thing the joke was scaffolding. He does not widen his eyes. He does not pause dramatically. He simply holds the contact for 1 beat longer than the rhythm of the monologue calls for, and the room shifts, not visibly, not in any way a transcript would capture, but the way a room shifts when it recognizes it is about to receive something that costs more than a laugh. He removed the page. He held it up. 4 seconds. Camera on page. Camera back on Kimmel. The sequence of a man who has been on this stage for 23 years and knows exactly how long 4 seconds is and exactly what to do with each one of them. He set it down. He said, "Hunter Biden's laptop." The audience laughed, went quiet, laughed again, differently. The second laugh, lower, the frequency of recognition rather than surprise. The frequency of people who understand that the punchline is not the joke, and the joke is not the punchline, and the thing that holds both of them up is a documented federal withholding of 53 pages related to accusations against a sitting president. Then he said, every time Trump is asked about Jeffrey Epstein, he completely loses it. He said it with the clinical delivery of someone reading a diagnostic finding. He said, that's not a press strategy. He said, that's a physiological response. He said, I've been watching it happen for a year, and the only explanation I have is that somewhere in those 53 pages is the reason a man who promised day one transparency spent 11 months building a legal architecture around not releasing them. He paused. He said, which gives those 53 pages about a 12% chance of staying hidden. The room broke completely. The scaffolding of the year-long arc, the rally promise, the Republican pressure, the reversal, the signing, the 53 withheld pages, the 4 seconds on live television, had been assembled in 90 seconds of monologue and was now fully visible to 400 people and several million more at home, in the specific way that things become visible when someone who has been tracking their construction for 11 months holds up the load-bearing piece and asks the room to look at it. Trump posted at 11:47 p.m. Why does ABC News keep Kimmel, a man with no talent and very low television ratings, on the air? He said, why do the TV syndicates tolerate it? He said, also, totally biased. He said, get the bum off the air. The post was 93 words. The monologue had been 6 minutes. Both were placed beside each other in every thread that shared either before midnight. The ratio did not require annotation. Post 2 arrived at 12:19 a.m. It addressed the 53 pages, not their contents, but their framing. He said the documents had been weaponized by political operatives. He said the media was lying. He said the Epstein story was a hoax designed to distract from his administration's historic achievements. He said the word hoax twice. Post 3 arrived at 12:44 a.m. It named Kimmel specifically. Washed-up comedian, Democrat operative, man who couldn't survive without government-funded propaganda. No government funds Kimmel's show. The claim was its own page 47, a statement that existed in the public record, checkable in 4 seconds by anyone with a browser, placed there by a man who had been awake for 3 hours, posting because a late-night host had held up a piece of paper. By post 7, the capital letters had migrated to the interior of sentences, not just at the start of words, but mid-word, the typographic evidence of a man whose fingers are moving faster than the grammar that organizes their output. By post 9, the word bum had appeared 4 times across 3 posts, the specific repetition of a line that has been rehearsed so many times it arrives before the thought that should precede it. By post 11, at 2:47 a.m., the post was 8 words, no structure, no argument, no target. 8 words in a field of white, the final output of a man whose relationship with a single piece of paper had produced 3 hours and 11 posts, and the particular quality of exhaustion that arrives at 2:47 a.m. when the thing you are responding to is still on the desk where it was set down, face up, 4 seconds long, not moving. Kimmel had signed off at midnight. He had said one thing at the close of the segment, looking at the camera with the eye contact that the room had learned to read. The 53 pages exist. They have been read by journalists who will continue to write about them. And every post between now and morning is a man telling you, in real time, exactly which 4 seconds of television he cannot stop thinking about. He said, good night. He said it the way you say good night when you know the other person is not going to sleep. The birthday card ran the following morning in every outlet that had not yet covered it. The Wall Street Journal piece from July, the card Trump had written to Epstein in 2003. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Kimmel had posted the phrase on his Instagram with the caption, I'm hearing you're next, or maybe it's just another wonderful secret. The caption had been viewed 41 million times before the 11 posts. It had been viewed 62 million times by morning. The scaffolding of the full year, the day one promise, the 11 months of resistance, the 53 pages, the 4 seconds, the 11 posts, the birthday card, the 62 million views, did not require assembly. It assembled itself from the public record, in sequence, in the specific order that a year of documented positions produces when someone who has been tracking them holds up the load-bearing piece on live television and gives the room 4 seconds to look at it. The people who subscribe to this channel don't come for drama. They come for the moments nobody else is willing to show. The ones where what a man posts at 2:47 a.m. tells you more about what's on page 47 than anything that's been said from any podium in the preceding 11 months. Join them. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. The next truth is already on the table.